Hello everybody, my name is Marloe and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Survival, and also welcome to my humble abode. This is our giant villager trading hall that we built in the last episode, and currently it's not much of a trading hall, it's actually completely empty on the inside. So today we are going to be moving some of these lovely villagers into their new home. And when I say some, I actually mean 60 villagers, and that's assuming none of them die en route, which is very probable with these guys. Am I looking forward to transferring 60 of these guys into position? No, definitely not. If I was excited about it, I think I could be classified as a psychopath, to be honest. But that's an obstacle we have to cross later on in the episode. The first thing we actually have to do is, well, build the trading hall inside of the trading hall. And what I mean by that is the actual technical trading hall where the villagers are going to be staying. This right here is just a hall that trading takes place inside of. Now, I tried tirelessly to come up with my own villager trading hall design. I really wanted to do it myself, and I spent a bit too long trying out different designs. And in the end, absolutely none of them worked as expected. I don't know what I'm doing with this, so just to be on the safe side and not cause myself any more stress than I need, I'm going to be using someone else's design who actually knows what they're doing. And that is the one and only Logical Geek Boy. So a link to the tutorial of his villager trading hall is going to be down in the description below. I guess with that out of the way, we can get started on building one of the 6 setups that we're going to be making. Basically, we have to split them up a little bit because it doesn't really work if we put them all in one group together. I'll explain afterwards. Now, of course, we are not going to be leaving this looking the way it is. We are at some point going to be covering it up. But the only issue is, we kind of need to move the villagers in before we do that. Plus, and I don't think I mentioned this, the zombie too. Yep, if I'm building a massive villager trading hall, I want to have discounted trades, so we need the zombie for that part. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, well, you can intentionally let your villagers be eaten alive by zombies. As long as you have a golden apple and splash potion of weakness on hand, if you chuck them their way, they will be cured. And they'll be so happy that you saved their life, they'll give you discounted trades. Thankfully, they don't know much about the zombie you led directly to them. They don't think it's your fault. But if you do that a few times over, you eventually get some crazy cheap trades, like super cheap. We're talking 1 emerald deals. And if you're trading in bulk like I'm going to be with this villager trading hall, it's really, really helpful. Before we move some of those guys into position, let me quickly just build another one of these flipped over onto this side. This bit right here, it's my favorite bit. It's just very satisfying, isn't it? So now these 2 setups are ready for some villagers, but before we start moving them in, let me just explain on why I've built 2 of them facing into each other. Because originally I wanted to have this sort of U shape, so I wanted to have some around the back here and maybe even at the front as well, sort of enclose it all a little bit more, but I was having some real issues with the zombies over on this side, looking at the villagers over on this side and vice versa. And I spent ages trying to fix this problem, and eventually came to the realization that I could just build a wall in between them. That way the zombies' line of sight is completely blocked, and the bonus is we don't even need to use solid blocks. I can just use glass and it'll work just as well, because for some reason zombies can't see through this. I don't quite know why, but I'm not going to question it. So yeah, that's why we have 2 of the exact same setup opposite each other. And we're also going to be building 2 more on top of each of these. But of course that is going to have to wait until we have our villagers in place, because I can't go ahead and start blocking these holes off where they fall into them, because, well, that's how they fall into it. I need this open for now, so 2 will have to do for the moment. So now is where the fun begins. Let's move some villagers. As you can see, I've set up a bit of a rail system, and in theory, this should be incredibly simple. I do just need to grab a couple of minecarts first though. 10 should be fine. Well, here goes nothing. We're going to send this minecart on its way and it's going to pick up one of those corner villagers in theory. We've got the villager, okay, he's making his way back and he should get chucked into this gap right here. There he goes, and there we go, perfect. And he should have assumed the role of cartographer. Wonderful, now to do that 9 more times. You know what? That was actually fine. I was stressing for no reason. Thankfully, because of this awesome design by Logical Geek Boy, it makes for them kind of going into position super simple if you set everything up correctly. Obviously, we had a bit of a hiccup at the start, but it all panned out completely okay. Which does relieve some stress because we have to do that 50 more times. Something I am a little bit concerned at is the number of villagers we have remaining over here because it's definitely not 50. 15 maybe, but certainly not 50. So once those two wake up in the morning, I'm gonna give them some more carrots and they can get to doing what they do best. With these 10 villagers now in position, we can tear down all of this glass and the rail setup over here and bring it on over to this side and do the exact same thing. First things first though, as promised, carrots for the villagers. I have no carrots. Let's farm some carrots. Who knew farming carrots could be so loud? There you go, my friends. Get busy. Okay, I've made some progress, but I'm now at a point where I'm realizing I have poorly planned this episode. So I have got quite a lot of waiting to do, which you guys don't need to be seeing. So instead of showing you all of that, we're just going to do a bit of a time jump here. So in between clips, I'm going to work on building 2 more of these setups on top of the ones we already have placed down, and then moving the villagers into position into those ones. And I also might cover some of this up, making it look a little bit better. Ta-da! The villagers are in position, and it only took 4.5 hours. To be honest, it wasn't all that bad because I spent most of that time AFK. The villagers were a little bit slow to be bred up, so I just spent a lot of the time kind of waiting around. But I wasn't just waiting around, I was being productive when possible, obviously moving the villagers into position and also covering up all of this so it looks a whole lot neater now. So all of the redstone and any other ugly components of these trading setups are now hidden away, which is very nice, and I've also added in a ladder so we can in fact get up to the 2nd level here. Something we do need to do quickly is build the barrier in between these 2 sides. Thankfully we can use glass panes, so hopefully this shouldn't look too ugly. I've built worse things before, plus this is kinda necessary. Let's also get a little bit of storage on the go, and having a crafting table nearby is probably going to be helpful. With that done, we are nearly finished with the downstairs here. There's just a couple more things we have to do. One of them being getting our zombies in position. And also, since we have these librarians here, I'm going to cycle through their trades and see if I can get some good enchanted books. Now I haven't been too picky with what trades I was trying to get because I don't really have all day, but what I have managed to get is Silk Touch, Mending, Looting 3, Unbreaking 3, Frostwalker, Feather Falling, Efficiency 5, and Protection 3. Yeah, I know some of those trades could have been better. For example, Protection 3 could have been Protection 4, but at the end of the day, the trades are going to be so cheap, it really shouldn't matter. Well, let's go catch ourselves a zombie, or more specifically, 4 of them. It is only midday at the moment, so we got a little bit of time to prepare. Hopefully this should work. I've just made a temporary tunnel right into the back of the villagers. And I've done that 4 times over. Just in time too. We've got our first zombie. I've given him an iron sword just so he can, kill the villagers a little bit quicker. And he won't despawn either. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Please leave me alone. Oh, goodness. Up the stairs. Very, very nice. Keep on coming this way. And follow me in here. That is great. Keep on coming. And I'm just gonna do that, I guess, and real quickly, run round and block you off. Cool, that's 1 done. There we go, that's number 2 trapped, number 3, and number 4. That genuinely wasn't too difficult. I was expecting it to be a lot worse. But with that done, we are now ready to move on to the second level and do exactly what we've done all over again. Except this time it'll be a little bit easier because we're only having 10 villagers on either side, so hopefully it shouldn't take me too long. So I built the 2 new villager setups and I moved my villagers on into position. I did have to wait for a few of them to age up to an adult, so I thought, what else can I do with my time here? I was sat on my roof having a look around for some ideas, and I noticed that for some bizarre reason I had filled this floor of this cave with moss. Don't know why I did it, but I thought it looked kind of cool, so I decided to do it for all of the other caves on show in this cliff face, and the result is pretty sweet if I'm honest. After that, my villagers had grown up, so I moved them into position and I made everything look much neater by covering it all up. Then I got the 2 zombies locked into position too, and last but not least I moved the remaining 2 villagers from the villager breeder down underneath the build and deleted the villager breeder from existence because it was super ugly and needed to go. And that means we are now finished with our villager trading hall. With the exception of these 2 rooms we have at the front of the building, I'm still not exactly sure what to do with them. If I can't think of anything, I'm probably just going to turn it into more storage. But other than that, we are done in here. Now is the fun bit. We can start trading. Before we start that, I do need to get a good supply of golden apples and splash potion of weakness, so I can actually cure these guys when this guy decides to eat them. Trouble is, I'm fairly certain I have next to no gold. Yeah, that's not enough gold. I'm gonna need some more. That's a little bit better. At some point, I would like to build a proper gold farm in this world, but not today. So for right now, we're just going to have to lower the trades for 10 of these villagers. And I think I'm going to do it for this side right here, where we have the cartographers and the librarians, because I want to show you a cool little trick of how we can basically get infinite emeralds. First things first though, all of these villagers need to be zombified. You, my friend, can be guinea pig number 1. So we flick this lever and he goes down to the height of the zombie and he's looking at me. So I'm going to have to hide a second. And then he gets bored of me and attacks the villager really quickly because he's got the sword. And then we can hoist this guy back up. And eventually I'll give him a splash potion and a golden apple and cure him. But just to be as efficient as possible, I'm gonna do it to all of the villagers. And we are done. So let's rescue these guys by flicking them up and I'll splash them and feed them. Oh, not everybody got eaten. Whoops, you guys gotta go back. Hopefully I can get a little bit of a group effect going on here. Did I get you? I did, and I did. Okay, that's really loud. Let me get these guys all cured up and I can show you how this is gonna work. This is something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely something. That's annoying. I didn't lock the librarian's trades, so they've reset. Well, I can do a little bit more lectern breaking and placing, no trouble, but with that now, all of these are cured. So the next step is to trade with all of them and get them to master level, which should be possible because I can now just trade 1 emerald for an empty map, and I also have an abundance of paper, so that should be no problem. So it's the next day now in real life. Things didn't quite go to plan. It's all fine now, but long story short, I traded with all of these villagers, got them to master level, but then their trades locked and they just straight up refused to unlock them. There's a bit of a bug going around in 1.19 with this problem of the villagers not restocking their trades, and the solution that I had, which eventually fixed the issue, was to break and replace their workstation to kind of link them back up, and then go AFK for a really, really long time. In total, today I've spent 4 hours waiting for their trades to restock. They should restock daily. In game, that is, not real life days, so hopefully it doesn't stay like that forever, otherwise this isn't going to be quite as efficient as I once hoped. But fingers crossed that bug can be patched and we won't have to come across it again. In fact, I think it may already be fixed in 1.19.1, which I'm currently not in, as you can see in the top left corner, just in 1.19. I'm staying in here because a lot of my mods aren't updated to that version, but hopefully at some point in the future we can update and fix this issue permanently. Anyway, I can now finally show you how we're going to be getting lots and lots of emeralds. So we're going to start off with a stack of emeralds. We don't need that many, but it's a good starting point, and we're going to come to our librarians here, and we're going to trade these emeralds for glass blocks. Each of them give us 48 glass blocks in total. Then we can go to our crafting table and turn those into glass panes. We then take these glass panes to our cartographers, who will give us 1 emerald for 1 of these glass panes. So this one right here is going to buy 16 of us, and then we just move down the line, rinse and repeat. And if we get lucky, which I have here, the trades have restocked immediately, so I can go down again and do some more. Unfortunately, these last 2 aren't trading with me, but the rest of them were, and you know, if I was able to trade those last 2, I'd be able to get rid of all of the glass panes and just start over from the librarians here. So imagine we have half a stack more emeralds. That is how many, in theory, we can get per day of doing this in Minecraft. Not too bad, is it? And keep in mind, we have 4 of these setups on this lower level. So there we go, everybody. We managed to fix the problem. I was a little bit worried I wasn't going to be able to, and this video would have a rather anticlimactic ending, but hopefully you guys are satisfied. I am, even though it's taken quite a large portion of my time. I think it was worth it, and in the long run, it most certainly will be. We'll have lots and lots of emeralds that we can trade with these guys up here in particular. Super excited to be able to do that. But for right now, this is where we're going to have to say goodbye. So thank you ever so much for watching this episode. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.